This is the 22nd episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the first day of Dreamforce here in December 2010. This episode is titled Dreamforce Day 1. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud computing experts, and I am Jason Atwood. Joining me live from the Moscone Center, Moscone West, it's Justin. Justin Elstein, how are you doing?
Doing good, sitting here at a table in the back of the Cloud Dine area near the Birds of a Feather area.
This is first for us. We are doing a on-site...
On location.
On location.
We're like reporters.
It's recorded live.
Yeah.
But it won't be heard live.
Right.
We just got out of lunch with
had to eat.
A great person
Hungry.
from Salesforce. But
the great Michael Roth.
The great Michael Roth from Salesforce.com. But we sat through the keynote. So we have lots to talk about today. Just it's an all keynote, all Salesforce edition. And so what was announced? Give me the rundown, and let's talk about it.
All right. So as always, there was a big announcement. The big announcement was database.com launched this morning.
Yep.
So that is actually out there as far as the website being out there. Not sure the service is ready to be consumed yet by people, but it is out there.
I think you can sign up for it.
Sign up for maybe a little trial.
For a trial.
All right.
So for those who have want a little bit more information, database.com is it's a cloud database, but it's a lot more different from them in terms of what they normally do because.
Well, let me run through the rest of the thing, and then we'll dive into it.
All right, then
let's not dive into one thing at a time.
Okay, fine.
Let me go through the agenda.
Let's go through the agenda.
So we had the big announcement, database.com. Now I'll keep going.
Yep.
We had the Cloud 2, as always. Mark Benioff pushing the Cloud 2 agenda, showing us the push and the pull, data being pushed at us. You're touching it. The mobile devices. He pulled out 4 or 5 mobile devices out of his pockets and an iPad out of the back of his pants. If you hear any ambient noise, that's because we are recording live.
Yes.
There are 6 clouds now. There used to be 3. This time last year there were 3. Then there was a 4th, adding Chatter. And then they've added the Jigsaw Data Cloud, which we saw a demonstration of during the Sales Cloud 2 demo, as well as the new database.com cloud. And they did put up a slide at the end of the keynote that had 2 more mystery clouds, 2 clouds with question marks in them. So
we'll learn about those tomorrow.
We were promised a big Force.com platform announcement tomorrow. So today was all about database.com as well as the core product offering, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud 2, and Chatter. So some good stuff. Kicked off with the Sales Cloud. And we saw some Jigsaw. We saw some Jigsaw live and in person.
And integrated. Just sort of my prediction.
Well, it was always integrated, but now it's owned by
and fully integrated. I didn't really get that from a standpoint they were showing us. Is that still the Salesforce.com? Is that the Jigsaw App Exchange product that you can install?
That's my bet.
Or is that now going to be just part of there's a button in every contact called Jigsaw?
Well, you probably have. I don't know the way Salesforce is always a little cryptic with their pricing models and their edition models. I'm not sure when you actually get Jigsaw. If you have to pay for it separately, if it's an app that you have to license. So I assume once you have Jigsaw licenses, you can use it. And maybe it magically shows up. Maybe it's an App Exchange product. Maybe we should do our research. But
this is just right after it happened, so we will do our research and come back with the actual answers. These are the questions people want to know.
But it was interesting. You saw Craig up on stage with Demo Dan, who's always the guy there doing the demos with the quick fingers. And they showed a contact that had no address information on the screen. And they had an embedded Google Map, a mashup on the contact page, and it was blank, so you could tell there was no address information. Clicked one button that went to Jigsaw to clean up the data, brought back in the address information from Jigsaw, and then magically the Google Map worked. It's a pretty neat little integration.
Totally neat. It'll be interesting to see how it gets, again, I know that already exists as an App Exchange product. I don't, because I've seen it, and I think I've thrown it into a developer edition somewhere, but I didn't I haven't seen it like sort of just included as, again, a button you can drop on a page layout, and it's called Jigsaw, and it's there.
Right.
So, well, interesting. The other thing, big, you didn't run down your thing, was the prediction was true. Chatter went free. Free Chatter.
Chatter did go free. That was actually next on my list to talk about. Was essentially a few new things in the Sales Cloud that is leveraging Chatter, which is the ability to chatter on dashboard components, which is interesting.
Nice.
I've always questioned why would you want to chatter on an entire dashboard. I think going down to the component level makes a little bit more sense.
Certainly does.
Sort of like reports. And yeah, it's going free. The offer is interesting. It's going to be called chatter.com, available in February. And that will enable you to have the collaboration service and the mobile app for free. What it will allow you to also do is extend, so you can either extend your existing Salesforce instance and provision, as an admin, you can provision every user that you want, or you can allow users within your existing org to invite other people to use Chatter with them. Not sure if you're going to be able to control that by domain or how you're going to be able to do that, but that was the way that Mark explained it.
So in theory, any contact that I have I could then enable them for also to have Chatter?
That's what it sounded like, but we shall see how that works.
I love how there's a lot of information. This is, again, my fourth year, your third year at Dreamforce, and it's a ton of information, and you walk out going, God, that's all such great stuff. And then you think, wait, what did he say? Is that free? Is that what, like, there's a lot of information, but there's no details.
Right.
Although Chatter now has a pay version, which is the old Chatter version.
So chatter.com will be the free version that you can just stand up for your entire organization. You don't have to be Salesforce.com users. And then there's a seamless upgrade path to, I believe they said $15 a month per user, which is essentially the existing Chatter-only license, which gives you the accounts and contacts and whatever else comes with that Chatter-only license. Because Chatter.com, the free license, will just give you the Chatter. Files, feeds, profiles groups.
And groups, which is actually a lot. It's
for free. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's a great product for free.
And it's secure. It's secure.
Well, that's actually interesting, because one of the things I was reading on it was that the Chatter Plus gets you enhanced security, which I was joking with the other partner of Arkus about saying that was funny because you get to pay for more security. Like I would never put that as
I don't think that's what it means. I think what it means is since you'll have access to accounts and contacts, it inherits the security model of them. That's my guess.
That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Than they had it in their marketing blitz.
They should hire me for marketing.
Wait, no. So that's totally cool. We kind of knew that was coming. Now it's Chatter Plus. I joked in Twitter that next year Chatter Plus will go free and they'll have Chatter Plus Pro.
Chatter Platinum.
Chatter Plus Pro 2011.
You got silver, gold, and platinum Chatter.
And they didn't put the thing that we wanted to have happen, which they didn't set knowledge free.
No, they did not. We were tweeting about that, and that's a good segue, because the next thing in the keynote that was talked about was the Service Cloud. They brought Alex Dayon up on stage from France, from the company Instranet that was purchased maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and was actually already integrated, but they took the platform of Instranet and rebuilt it on the cloud.
Yep.
A big piece of Instranet is the knowledge base. It's a big push to use the knowledge base, and nothing really new from the knowledge perspective.
I thought I saw real-time filtering of search results.
That uses the same dimensions technology that has existed throughout the product. What was interesting was actually the scripting. So that might have been new. The ability to, if a user asks a question about a product, and the product is, laptop. Well, that's a generic term, laptop. Which laptop? And then walk through the script, essentially. Oh, this laptop, this size, this model, this memory stick that they want to, upgrade with. So it did do that and filter down on knowledge articles. As always, they showed the ability to publish knowledge articles out to a website or a customer portal, search for it in Google and find it, attach it to a case and send it out via email, attach it through Twitter, so catching a case or catching a tweet and shoving it into a case within the Service Cloud, interacting with this person just through Twitter.
Is that still gonna be the App Exchange product, or is that gonna be...
It was the App Exchange product.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a route that they're going to continue to go down, where they just have these products that exist on the App Exchange. Because, again, with their model of licensing, they have like Service Cloud licenses and Sales Cloud licenses. So you have the Enterprise Edition for both, which is weird because does one come with the other? It's a little confusing. They should probably work on that as far as making it a little bit more clear of what you're getting. Because why would you buy Service Cloud Enterprise Edition when you can buy Sales Cloud Enterprise Edition and install the thing from the App Exchange, when Service Cloud Enterprise Edition doesn't come with knowledge anyway? You have to pay for it.
I think there's something in the Service Cloud. Well, it's actually a small segue after this, but I think there's something in the Service Cloud that you get as part of the license. I also think it's a lower price point, so
it's not. It's
not
same.
Enterprise.
It is.
It is the same price.
Yeah, it might even be more. So
that's even odder.
It's hard to understand, and we do this for a living, so it's not.
We're experts. So
we're experts.
That even makes it. Well, just a side note on that, something that came out not of this, but here at Dreamforce, was that they're now doing a new certification level for all those out there who are admins and certified developers and certified sales consultants. They're now breaking it off and creating a whole new segment just for Sales Cloud certification.
And Service Cloud.
And Service Cloud services. So breaking it out into the two different clouds, which at some point, if they keep having all the clouds and every cloud starts to get its own certification, let's see, 7 clouds times 2. I mean, you could have a lot of certs.
Yes.
I don't know how I'll fit it all on a business card.
They also demonstrated the Activa Live search from a website. I don't think they did the greatest job of showing off the capabilities. It might have been difficult to show all that it can do, because it is an integrated product and does integrate with a contact in a case and log the activity. But all they really showed up on stage was the ability to have a live chat on a website, which isn't all that exciting these days. But it is part of the offering. Perhaps that piece only comes with the Service Cloud versus the Sales Cloud.
What else was in the Service Cloud? Anything else?
No, they showed integrated telephony, the searching for articles, publishing them, attaching them, tweeting them, all the stuff that we've actually seen before.
Yeah.
Chatter. They did show some of the entitlements features that rolled out in, I think it was the summer release, the entitlements, where different service level agreements for different types of accounts and hitting milestones and clicking buttons and adding, level 2 or level 3 and using Chatter to collaborate around a case, which is nice. But for the most part, they didn't really show anything brand new with the Service Cloud. They just sort of gave a good overview of it.
I want to get I have a question for you. I'll let you think about it as we talk about this other stuff.
Go on.
For today versus tomorrow, do you think tomorrow's announcements are going to be bigger in scope and more game-changing than today? Because they are breaking up. And last year we were talking about this at lunch, but last year they announced Chatter on the first day. And I think that's because Chatter then, the show was about Chatter, so it had to be everywhere, and they had to change the signs and things like that. I have a gut feeling that tomorrow's announcements are bigger in scope, that are going to have more significance than database.com. Because there are other services out there that are doing the database, cloud service database stuff. In fact, Rackspace has one.
Google has one.
Zoho
has one.
Yeah, so it's big in that it's Salesforce and that it has some great features. But somehow I feel like 2 new clouds tomorrow. I feel like there's secrecy too. We know that we've talked to a lot of our Salesforce buddies who work at Salesforce, and I'll tell you, there's an access level because some of them know, and some of them don't know what's happening tomorrow. So it's not that every Salesforce employee knows what's happening tomorrow. Some of them actually have no clue, and they've said, "Listen, we have not even been told what's coming out." The person we met with today did know, wouldn't tell us. Good, because then we would get on a podcast and tell everybody out there in the world. It should be no good.
Well, good for our listeners.
Yes, good for our listeners. But anyway, so that's since I asked the question, what do you think? Do you think tomorrow's going to be?
Yeah, well, they did put 2 new clouds up there with question marks. And they did allude to some of the stuff like site building, which leads you to believe CMS is around the corner.
I don't think that. Yeah, there's
the easier ability to build out websites, easier ability to build out Visualforce declaratively. And they did make mention of the platform itself being completely abstracted from the database level. So, you'll have the database as a service and then all the other components of the platform, authentication, querying, reporting, analytics.
Auth as a service.
As a service, all sorts of different capabilities of the platform being delivered separately from the database. So the database.com is the ground floor, and then we'll see what comes tomorrow with the next 2 clouds.
Well, that's a great segue, because that was sort of the big announcement that got released this morning. Interesting enough, I got an email from a friend of mine, I don't know if he listens to the podcast, who doesn't know Salesforce very well. He's a big database geek, though, and he would say that, so it's not an insult to him. And he literally emailed me and said, "What is this database.com thing? What does it have to do with Salesforce? Is it really relational?" He asked a bunch of questions. And I thought, I don't know, it felt like to me like it had been out there for a long time and I didn't know about it. So they released the website in the morning, so it wasn't really a sort of they were kind of showing in advance that it was going to come. But it looks really cool. I mean, from a semi-database geek, or as a database guy back in the day when I used to be a database guy, they had the thing that blew me away was the command line stuff, right? So a lot of what you do in Salesforce, very much clicks, not code, and even when you're developing in the apps, you're not using command line sort of Unix-based type stuff. So watching, them drop to a command line, a virtual command line, and doing some SQL, I thought, ooh, that's interesting. And it's open, so a lot of things can use the API. They showed an example of basically building a recruiting app, which seems to be the number one go-to app. Although, I can think of some partners who might not want to have that be the app that looks like they can build in 5 minutes. It's generally more difficult than that. But it looked really good. And what do you think about database.com?
Yeah, so some statistics. Steve Fisher, who runs a lot of the core engineering and development teams at Salesforce, came out and talked about the scalability of the database itself that's runs on, or that Salesforce.com runs on, and said they rebuilt it from the ground up to be a Cloud 2 database with social built right in, and the ability to do feeds and chatter and things like that built right in. Talked about there being 20 billion records in the database as opposed to 10 billion last year, which is just completely doubling in size over the course of 1 year.
And wasn't some huge percentage of that was not standard objects?
Yeah,
like
a lot
60%?
of it was just custom data from customers. When he said Cloud 2 database, what he meant by that was, again, the social, the auto tuning of the database, the auto upgrades, all the things that you don't really have to think about when you're running a database in the cloud as opposed to managing it yourself on premise.
We were talking to a customer right after who was immediately saying, "Oh, I wish I had that." What was it, 6 months ago? So they could have built something in
built a product that they ended up using Zoho for.
Oh, they did? They used
Yes,
Zoho?
they did, but they ended up having to build, because again, database.com is available on any platform, using any language, and on any devices. They wrote the app as a web app using PHP. They could have done that using database.com and then easily have built a mobile version for it. And that was sort of a key to that project, was they had to make sure that the website worked really well on the iPad as well as a regular web browser, but They could have built it a little bit differently, perhaps, if this would have been available to them. And again, some of the features, in the line items of the features is relational data, search, so free text search, users, so you can provision users to the database, row level security, triggers and stored procedures, authentication, as well as an API, so it's available to access from different programs or different areas and different languages. So
yeah, so far is the thing that I want to get my hands on the quickest. And again, you can go sign up. Someone tweeted back.
We're in Moscone West, which is where the Force.com developer zone is. I imagine it's upstairs somewhere. We're downstairs in the Cloud Dine, and I imagine if we went up there...
I love that you're actually looking at this.
I'm looking up right now. I am. I'm looking at the asbestos-filled pipes up there. If you were to go upstairs, I bet you could get your hands on a demonstration of it right now. It looked pretty cool the way that they were adding fields and dragging the database tables around, because you could see that it was like, it's Salesforce fields. You're adding a new field, and it had, auto number or pick list or checkbox, or it was all the Salesforce stuff, but it was in a different UI than you've ever seen before for adding a field to a Salesforce object.
It much more, I know this sounds strange to say, but it's much more like database tools exist today, and that they weren't trying to take Salesforce and put the database into it. They said, let's make it separate. It's its own thing. It's going to appeal to a different set of people. But I'll tell you, we both know that while Salesforce is great at certain types of data and certain relationships and certain things, there are things that you struggle with Salesforce in terms of certain types of data sets or certain volumes of data sets, or trying to get things in and out, because while it is a database, it is not meant to be a relational database in some ways. So it doesn't behave like your traditional DB2, your PostgreSQL, your MySQL, your MS SQL. It behaves like Salesforce, and so that has some great advantages, but it also has some disadvantages. So I think this is another tool in the belt of people who want to use cloud computing to say, okay, fine, if you can't do it in Salesforce because of one of these restrictions, here's we can do it here. And I would like to see, actually what I really am interested to see is how does it integrate with Salesforce. Is if they can connect that up, because what I love to see is I'm in Salesforce, I got all my Salesforce-y stuff, and somehow I can get to this, right? Build me a way to connect that database.com stuff into Salesforce, so that I can connect those two worlds.
Well,
push
data
one way.
That the database, that database.com is what Salesforce will eventually be sitting on.
So you don't think that Salesforce is sitting on that structure right now?
No.
It's you think it's a whole new offering?
Yeah. Okay. But I think eventually it will be the core database that Salesforce sits on. But that is a massive conversion that, being a cloud offering, you don't go down. You don't say, we're going to migrate our 85, 90,000 customers and 4 million users and 20 billion records to a new database overnight.
We'll be down from August. We'll see you in September.
Exactly. So that's a trick that they'll have to pull off, but I think eventually that database.com is the database that Salesforce will be sitting on. Again, the clues were there. We're abstracting a lot of these things. We're giving them to you as tools to use as part of the tool set as a service. So with that, why don't we get to predictions for tomorrow and then wrap this puppy up?
All right.
What do you think's coming down the pipe tomorrow?
Well, there's two things we know. We know the sites thing. So there's a visual kind of WYSIWYG developer for sites. Drag and drop. What we've been asking for. I'm a big website guy. I've been building websites for a million years. And I love sites because of some of its ability, the CDN and things like that. But it lacks in content management. Doesn't have really good content management built into it.
You're building pages and linking them together.
Yeah, so it doesn't have a lot of that. And the sort of the customization of it, the WYSIWYG stuff. So I know that's coming tomorrow, so it's not much of a prediction.
What are the two clouds?
I think one's a site cloud.
Sites cloud? Website cloud?
Website cloud or something.
What's the other cloud? I have a guess.
I think it's a content management cloud.
Okay. I think.
What's your guess?
So I think you're right on the content management cloud. I think a content management cloud is one, and I think the other one is a data analytics business intelligence cloud.
Ooh, that'd be hot.
Where they're going to have advanced analytics availability, because right now analytics are still a little lacking. But again, piggybacking on the database.com announcement, it seems as though more advanced analytics will be available due to the nature of the database that it will be sitting on.
So go for the full prediction. What's the cloud name? Analytics Cloud?
Yeah, I think it'll be Content Cloud and Business Intelligence Cloud.
I think there's a Sites Cloud, and then I don't know what the other one is. But yours is as good a guess as any. That's
They're
good.
just guesses, guys. Until tomorrow, we won't know.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for day one here at Dreamforce. You want to follow us. If you are looking for the T-shirts, we are going to have them. We're going to announce it again tomorrow in the Chatter Dreamforce app.
And on Twitter.
And we might even wear them around, so it'll be easy to find us. And as a way to get to us, we have them here for all those that are on it. For those you don't know what we're talking about for this T-shirt, we had a T-shirt contest at Dreamforce. So if you listen to this in 2 years, it's not going to mean much to you. But until then, tomorrow we'll be back. So we'll just sign it off right now. Blog.arkusinc.com, twitter.com/ArkusInc, twitter.com/JustEdelstein, twitter.com/JasonMAtwood, and subscribe on iTunes, which is always a great way. Until tomorrow, keep on dreaming, buddy.